Does anybody know my topic? Yes. Some people got really confused. Really confused. Is your church closed this Sunday? No, it's not. Where did you read it? On Instagram. Your Instagram. It says closed. Oh, guys, we're not Chick-fil-A, okay? We are open on Sunday. I know sometimes I want Chick-fil-A after Sunday, but they're closed on Sunday. Do you know that according to some calculations that in the state of Washington, 56% of churches are still closed. And out of those, 20% don't even have live stream. That is just staggering number of churches. Even those that did reopened after some regulations and they adjusted their, how they do service. Pastors are quoted saying there's a lot less people coming to service. I seen a study where it says that 1 out of 5 churches will close after 18 months of this pandemic. And I feel like, personally, we don't speak too much about this. I'm very grateful that OCC, Overcomer Church, has allowed us to gather. This is such a blessing, and they've been supportive. They encourage us to, follow all precautions and really encourage anybody that's sick to stay home. And you guys have been doing a great job. And those, we've known families that had COVID and some with tragic endings. But in general, we've seen God raise up families from this illness. And personally, myself, my family. And we continue to pray for our nation, for our planet, for God to heal us. Amen? A little bit, I'll touch on the political, which I'm not really a political guy, is not that if a church is closed or not, but government closing churches. It's been really bothering me, and I've tried to even Google on, Google or look on YouTube to see, because I hear a lot of things saying like, this church has been closed by the government, and I've known that there's a lot of churches like that in Canada where they don't have First Amendment. Part of First Amendment is the freedom to assemble peaceably. We're not fighting here, right? So we have the right to gather, right? It's our expression. And in Canada, they don't have it. And I know churches that were fined, tens of thousands of dollars. And I didn't hear anything about the U.S. And then one of my friends forwarded me, which I get a lot of forwards, political stuff. I don't know why. Maybe people think I'm political. So I usually don't open them. But if it's somebody I know, I try to open, just to check out. And this person I know, I opened it and I see this church over $100,000 of fines finally does close. They just couldn't handle it. I was like, this can't happen in America. Come on. And so I look it up, and it's true. In Santa Clara, a church has been fined. They were fined $5,000 per service. Per service. And once they got over $100,000, they were forced to close. Sad. And they weren't gathering inside, mind you. They were gathering outside. And here's the thing, is I think each church has the right to close if they have an outbreak in the church, which is reasonable, right? If a church wants to close, change its hours, change how they sit, demand what they want, that's called individual liberties, and that's what we have in this country, right? But whenever a government tells us how we need to do church, starts kind of feeling not like our country, right? Starts feeling like maybe our grandmother's countries, where they're forced. And so just before I start, I know it's closed on Sunday. Before I start my sermon, it's not about this. I encourage you, it's not about this. I want to say that we really value the rights and opportunities, the freedoms we have in this country. God's really blessed us. And even though we see these, little segments of our country where the government there, local government, is not doing what needs to be done constitutional, we still pray for our country. We bless it. We bless our presidents and believe that God would be with them. Before I start, I want to read from it, Daniel 6:6. I love this story, and this kind of speaks about the personal liberties, which is more important, I think. It says, "So the administrators and high officers went to the king and said, 'Long live King Darius. We are all in agreement, we administrators, officials, high officers, advisors, scientists, and governors,'" I added that, "and governors, that the king should make a law that will be strictly enforced. Give orders that the next 30 days, any person who prays to anyone, divine or human, except to you, king, will be thrown in the den of lions. And now, your majesty, issue and sign this law so it cannot be changed. An official law that can't be revoked." So King Darius signed the law. When David heard and learned of the law that he signed, he went to his house, hid in his basement, and cried. No, that's not in my Bible. It says, he went home, he knelt down as usual in his upstairs room, with it opened the windows towards Jerusalem, and he prayed 3 times a day, just as he did and done before, and gave thanks to God. This really encourages me. Yeah, he knew there's consequences. Yes, he knew that something might happen. He knew that he was very smart. He knew that why this law even came to existence. But he was faithful to God. And I encourage you today that be faithful to God in your personal life. You know, don't let the circumstances dictate your relationship with God. And this is really important in my life as I, adjust also to a different style of work, adjust a different style of fellowship. I need to still, keep a fire on my altar, keep a fire in my life, not let that be taken away. Today I'm going to be talking about Closed on Sunday. And I don't know if you've heard a song. It's by our apostle, Kanye. He's become a Christian artist lately. And my kids love this song. This is their favorite song. They know every word. And to be honest, I like it too. Not the Chick-fil-A part. I just love the song. I just love what it stands for. And honestly, I was preparing, and I had a different message. But it kept on being in my head. And when I hear about things and seeing, God just kept on putting me back into a verse, which I've heard this verse multiple times, but in really religious churches. It's like they're John 3:16. And so I think they read that verse more. So I was kind of like, Lord, really, is that you? Or are you just speaking to me directly? So maybe God is speaking to me directly today. But I just want to share it with you. I'm going to read from 1 John chapter 2, verses 15 and 16. Oh, I like the paper sound. Do not love this world, nor the things it offers you. For when you love the world, you do not have the love of the Father in you. For the world offers only a craving of physical pleasure, a craving for everything we see, and pride in our achievements and possessions. They are not from the Father, but are from this world. And so when you think about the first part of it is, do not love the world. So what does world mean? Does that mean do not love your family? It lives in the family. Do not love this facility. What does world mean? And if you look into the word itself, it means cosmos. World means cosmos, meaning like order, a order of things. And I really like Marvin Vincent's commentary on this. He described the world as the sum of human life in an ordered world, considered apart from alienated from and hostile to God, and of the earthly things which seduce from God. So it's all the order that does not allow God within it, or fears God, or takes us away from God. For some of us, this describes a person. They take us away from God. For some of us, this describes maybe a university or public school, which kind of steers us away from God. For some, even a place of work where you're afraid to say that you are a Christian. I know, especially for some of us that work in very liberal companies where our leadership would say, I don't understand those people that have many kids. They're populating the world. Haven't they heard of global warming? And I'm sitting there like, what did I do to warm up this world? Probably all the steak. All the steak I've been grilling. I'm sorry, guys. Very sorry. I don't know if you heard I had a sixth kid. Yes. After 5 girls, we have a 6th boy. A boy. Finally a boy. For some of you guys think, they tried until they got a boy and now he can't have any kids. No, my wife had 6 kids, I had 6 kids. Why am I telling you this? Anyways, the whole point is we're excited for this new season in our life. I was excited last night when I was hearing him cry. Not so excited, but excited that he's in our life and that he's healthy. And for us, he's truly a miracle. But this is the dilemma we live in the world. How do we live in this world and not be part of this world, right? How is that even possible? John continues by describing what to avoid in this worldly order or system in verse 16. For the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure, a craving for everything else we see, and pride in our achievements and positions. These are not of the Father. I like this contemporary translation which says, our foolish pride comes from this world, and so do the selfish desires and our desires to have everything we see. None of this comes from the Father. John says, you don't love the Father if you love the world. But I don't know about you, even when I meet a person that does not live a Christian lifestyle, when you ask him, hey, do you love Jesus? I think 9 out of 10 times people say, yeah, I love Jesus. I love Jesus. But the problem here is, how can you explain your life? Right? John is showing that what leads us or what forces us or what motivates us to live a life that's not of this world is our love. It's not the fear of hell. It's not the fear of consequences, but our love for the Father. So it feels like this worldly order that pulls us away from God, something steers us to God, right? And should not be fear, because that just fades away. I know for me, when I was a teenager and I went to a very conservative church, and every time one of these more conservative preachers, they preached, they told us about hell. And he would say, have you put your hand on the candle? Get used to it. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm going up there, pray for me. It was motivated by fear. But when you got outside, all that faded away, right? You saw your friends. And this is the problem with being motivated by fear, is it's not enough. What we need is the love of the Father in our lives. A genuine Christian lives his or her life driven by the love of God. Jesus says, your love to one another proves the world that you are my disciples. That's in John 13:35. That always surprises me, right? The world will see how we love our church family, And they'll say, oh, wow, they truly love God. They truly are Christians. They will know you that you are a Christian by your love to one another. So John is asking us to love God and to love our brethren or our church family. And this is what shows our obedience or love towards the Father. A Christian is marked by his or her love to God and their brethren or the church family. And non-Christian is marked by his or her love towards the world, this world system that stands firm in opposition of God, against Christ and against the gospel. In John 4, from 1 to 4, it says, what is causing the quarrels and fights among you? Don't you come from the evil desires? Don't they come from the evil desires of the war within you? You want what you don't desire, and you scheme to kill to get it. Or you desire what you don't have. You are jealous of what others have. So you fight and war against them, yet you don't have what you want because you don't ask from God. And this part, interesting, says, and even if you did ask God, he would not give it to you because your motives are wrong. You want only what gives you pleasure. And then he says something really, James says it really, really strict. He said, you adulterers, don't you realize that friendship with the world makes you an enemy of God? I say it again, if you want to be a friend of the world, you make yourself an enemy of God. So this is our dilemma. We know the world. We know what it stands for. We know what it forces us or what it offers us. And how do we stay connected to God? And today I want to talk about 3 things that I just seen in my life, and God has been talking to me about how it is in IRL. What is the worldly system and what it does to us? So for me, I found 3 things. And the first thing, it redirects our attention. Especially when you're preparing for something or working, it's hard to keep your attention. I don't know if you work from home, you know this perfectly. If you have a pet or a child, you know this perfectly as well. You start a project and you get diverted. Same thing in our Christian life. We have goals. We have things that we want from God. There's things we want from ourselves before God. And we come to him and we ask him, hey, Lord, change me. I want to read the Bible this year. 2020 is going to be the year. What could happen in 2020? A lot could happen. Things redirect us. Things take our attention. I know even preparing for this sermon, the Bible app, where, I got an Amazon ad for a microphone I've been really wanting to see. I actually clicked on the ad, and I thought, I'm literally typing this in what I need to, this is how the world works. It tries to take our attention from the more important things. Going back to our friend Kanye, he writes this, closed on Sunday, hold the selfies, put the gram away, get your family, y'all hold hands and pray. Right? There's some things in our life that take our attention, like Instagram. I don't take too many selfies unless it's with my wife. That's not a selfie. And it's hard for us. We say, oh, I don't even have time to pray at night, or I don't have time to. But I love the first Psalm where it says, the righteous, right? What he does, he meditates on the Lord day and night. And that's where his growth is. And it says he will always have time to do what he wants to accomplish. He will have time. And this is when you say, hey, I don't have time. God is saying, hey, meditate upon my word. Meditate upon me. Meditate, pray, seek me. The second thing the world does, it redirects our affection. So we have our own Christian kind of morals. We have things that we, from a early childhood, we see this as our most valuable things that we believe in. What happens is, once the world takes our attention away, the world offers us things that slowly chip away at our affections, things that we start liking. Just think about your life. There's some things that maybe a year ago did not matter at all to you. You didn't care about it. But now for Christmas, it's the only thing you could think about. Some things steal your affection and change your affection. Some things that are so important to you, that time in your closet prayer was so important that you could never imagine they could be changed by a show you're in love with right now. That's how easy it changes. Third thing is, and last thing, it redirects our commitment. Once your attention is taken away, once your things that you love start changing, what happens is your commitments start to change as well. I've seen so many young people that come and say, hey, I want to dedicate my life to Christ. And we're excited for them. Your next step is to get water baptized. And they're like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. They're studying the Bible. They want to get to know Jesus. We baptize them. They're on fire for God. And a year later, I meet them. They're probably a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and their commitments changed. Before, they said, you know what? I want to be part of your worship team. I've always wanted to sing. I sing in the shower so great. I want to be part of your worship. Or, hey, I've been learning guitar. Give me a year. I'm going to learn a few more chords and I'm come join you on worship. I was like, yeah, come on, learn the chords. Come join us. And they're excited. They got a new guitar at Guitar Center. They're excited. Is that dust on it? Now you can't even find that guitar, somewhere in the garage. The world redirects our commitments to God, commitments to our family. We've made a commitment that every night as a family we'll pray. When's the last time that happened? We made a commitment every night. Everything that was wrong that day, I will bring it to Christ. I will lay it at His feet. When's the last time you had that encounter with Jesus? Listen, we're all human beings. It's easy to take our attention, especially these days. It's easy to redirect and maybe change our affections. But once the world changes your commitments, it's a lot harder to bounce back. And that's why God says, meditate. It says, always pray, right? Meditate upon my word. Don't let the world take your attention away. There's this little moon thing on your phone. If you're an iPhone person, sorry, Android people. You press it and no calls could come through. No text could come through. Nothing can bother you. There's a feature. It's I'm talking to Jesus, moon on everything else. Put that in. Try to spend time with Him. It takes baby steps. Never start commitment. Hey, every night at 3 a.m., I'm going to spend an hour with Jesus. That's hard. Some of you, I know you do that because I see you. After that commitment time, you text me or something in the middle of the night. I have the moon thing on, so I don't get it. Start with something small in your life. Hey, every night, I'm going to spend 10 minutes with God. 10 minutes. I'll just listen to a song, sing along to it, very quietly at first. And then I'll just spend 5 minutes reading something from the Bible. Just start with something small. And so you don't forget, just put a timer. Like alarm, little alarm. 5 minutes till my little encounter with Jesus. 10 minutes. You'll see you'll want more. I've seen in my life, I want more. I want more of you, God. When He starts speaking into your life, first you think, oh, this is probably the bad pizza I ate. I don't know. Is this really you, Lord? You're not sure, but then you start hearing His voice clearer in your life. That's when you spend time with Him. One of the most known stories of the Bible is about the prodigal son. It speaks more about the essence of the Father than the Son. It shows the grace and love of the Father. It shows that the love of God is always ready to welcome and return and celebrate it with a party. This is how the love of God is. The love of God can't meet you or be with you in the pig's den, in the pig pen, but it can welcome you from it. You know, God shows that He loves us, and He tells us that the only way we could love Him is if we not agree with the world. So He says, hey, spend time with me. You will fall in love with me. He promises that. And then it'll be harder for the world to distract us. Amen? I was preaching today to myself today. And if this was a message to you as well, may God really challenges you this week. Challenges this week to make that commitment, small commitment. Nobody's asking you to change the world today. God wants to spend at least 10 minutes with you daily. Can we promise that to Him today? Let us stand. As we took communion, we saw God's faithfulness in our life. Why faithfulness? Is because no matter how far we go from Him, He will wait for us to come back. I love in the prodigal son, the father always came out and was looking afar. And when he saw his son far away, he ran toward him. This is the faithfulness of our Father. And that's what we celebrate today. We celebrate Him. Amen? He is powerful. Can we declare that today? God, your name is beautiful. God, your name is wonderful. Your name is powerful in our lives.